Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake has to emphasize light versus dark side choices. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I have another article for you, this time by Gamerant. I have to give a big shout out to Gamerant because out of all other publications, they have been writing the most articles regarding KoTOR by far, even amongst the other fill-in-the-blank rant sites. Whether I agree with them or not, I find the sheer effort alone to be commendable. But onto the piece here. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake will likely make some key changes, but its approach to choices should make them more defining. This is written by Joshua Duckworth, and as always I will leave a link to the original article in the description box below.
Hey, spoiler alert!
Without a doubt, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is one of the most anticipated games on the foreseeable horizon. No one really knows how far along it is or when the game will actually drop, but when it was revealed, seeing Revan with a red lightsaber was enough to make fan excitement palpable. You know, this just occurred to me now, but maybe it would have been cooler to just show Revan, but without a lightsaber. Not a red one, or blue, green, purple, whatever. Avoid giving any indication of Revan being any one side of the Force. That's what the player decides throughout playing the game anyway. But I understand why they did it. Most people think of Revan as Darth Revan. That said, some of the rumors have received a bit of a mixed response. It is said that KoTOR's combat is being reworked, for example, and it may not have the exact turn-based combat system it did before. Mixed indeed. I ran a poll on my channel asking if people would want the combat to be modernized or not, and the results were pretty close. However, most people still wanted to see it modernized. To what extent? For that we'll have to visit the comment section, but we're not going through 137 comments for this video. There's little doubt that Knights of the Old Republic's choice system was a defining element of the game and a product of its time. Now, however, it wouldn't really hold up. That's not to say there aren't light side or dark side choices that really emphasize this duality or Revan's character. Forcing Zalbar to kill Mission or poisoning the KoTOR supply on Manaan come to mind. But in the end, they matter little. When it comes to KoTOR's ending, how players have played the entire game matters little. And I kind of agree. In the following paragraph, they explain how a player can be heavily on the light or dark side, but at any given moment, without explanation, start making choices that grant points for the opposite alignment. Reasonable enough. However,
Revan's choices were always his own. It was not teaching or circumstance or example, it was him.
Now maybe you think Kreia is wrong or we're ignoring KoTOR 2 in this remake. The latter is certainly possible. Now by what matters, this article seems to be referring to the game's ending. None of the choices you make in KoTOR 1 bring any changes to it. They go on to explain that the ending is primarily defined by the choices you make when it comes to confronting Bastila at the Rakatan Temple. You could be full light side, but still side with her, and vice versa. It's a big hit though, I checked. If you start the confrontation at full light side, if you side with Bastila, you will accrue a total of 55 dark side points, putting you at a good evil of 45 according to the save game editor. Bastila is at 25 by the way. If you start a full dark side and don't side with Bastila, you accrue 56 light side points. So the game still kind of pushes you towards the associated alignment in that one scene near the end. But what does force alignment really do in the game? The article itself acknowledges this. The choice, sure, has consequences like a major change in alignment that could impact force powers, skills, equipment, and so on. But it's also not something that prevents this from happening. It's just a little loose in terms of having choice and gameplay coincide. Some people, especially on the Discord server, link in the description, have suggested alignment changes when using particular force powers. For example, let's say you use Force Lightning. You gain a small amount of dark side points every time you do, and they can add up. It's consistent with Star Wars lore, but like this article is suggesting, the game may need more story-based consequences to alignment in order for it to be significant. For the most part, dialogue and small choices in Knights of the Old Republic influence the character's light or dark side alignment, and this is great for character and world building. It can show how Revan is a good person or an evil one, with or without the knowledge of their corruption by the Sith Emperor. Can we please not involve anything SWTOR related in this remake? And this isn't necessarily a knock against the MMO. I just think that if they decide to give KoTOR 2 the same treatment, then acknowledging the MMO might bring some undesirable issues. That's it. Aside from the force powers, equipment, and so on, the choices of KoTOR should be more impactful as a whole. One way this could be done is to take how light and dark side choices impacted companions in Knights of the Old Republic 2. Holy bejesus, they're actually acknowledging KoTOR 2. And I understand that some people have made this suggestion for the remake. However, what I do not understand is why they left a hyperlink in Companions in Knights of the Old Republic 2 that leads to a Knights of the Old Republic companion tier list that only features companions from KoTOR 1. Yeah, if players are this all-powerful corrupting Sith Lord, it makes sense that they could sway their companions. No, I don't think so. Revan is not the Jedi exile. The reason the exile was able to influence the people around her like that is due to something that's innate to that character specifically.
It is not an easy thing to explain. Sure, you are familiar with force bonds. It is the bond that develops between apprentice and master when one truly understands another. It is developed over time through understanding of each other. Yet you do it so easily, and we do not know why.
You make connections through the Force, and it resonates with those who travel with you. The resonance is even greater when they, too, are Force-sensitive.
Gameplay elements like this were often linked to the game's overall narrative.
You must have noticed as you fought across all these planets, killing hundreds, only to become more and more powerful. Why do you think that was?
Revan is known to be a charismatic figure, so how about this? His example of light or dark side choices can open up alternate choices, dialogue options, and solutions to quests. With all quests, not just companion-related ones. When it's companion-related, you may even be able to see the option, but your companions might not be willing to go along with the plan and will be confused as to why you're even suggesting it due to the example you've previously set. The ending choice of Knights of the Old Republic could be locked too, based on a number of alignment points one way or the other. Redemption should definitely be possible, but if players have accumulated X number of dark side or light side points throughout the game, they shouldn't just be able to completely divert their character. Or maybe they should, if they can pass a check in a different stat. Maybe that stat can be the will stat. Why will? Because you need willpower to fight off the Force's influence? Just an idea. In KoTOR 2, some of the major decisions you make throughout do change certain things later on. The soldiers that show up in the Battle of Citadel Station depend on who you side with on Dantooine and Onderon, for example. If you're dark side aligned at the end, then you don't destroy Malachor. You throw Krea's body into it and leave someone behind to train the Jedi and Force sensitives that will inevitably be drawn to the place. These two changes, if implemented, would likely do a lot of work in really pushing the light and dark side options. It is a full remake, not a remaster after all, so anything is possible. There are certainly other changes that would be good too, like new decisions in certain missions that could impact their direction. Overall, it remains to be seen how the Knights of the Old Republic honors the legacy of the original, but also makes it more modern. Needless to say, many look forward to learning more whenever Aspire is ready. And when they are, I'll be here to report on it. So subscribe and hit that bell to stay up to date for anything KoTOR Remake related. I am keeping a very close eye on this one.
Now, I tell you what, I like you, and I want you.
Still, maybe you agree wholeheartedly with the article. Should they implement a companion influence system in the KoTOR 1 remake anyway? Maybe they can do something else that I haven't thought of. But if you have, then I'd love to hear about it in the comment section. But shoutouts to all my channel members, of course, the real MVPs, but also to everyone who watched until the end. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace and chicken grease.